The home stretch of spring camp is here, and we have so much new information and so much to break down on the live show. Welcome into Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint. The show is also brought to you by Tansky Power Sports. That is Justin Zwick. He got 1 tray of chips.
Only one.
Bobby Carpenter. He got 2 trays of chips. That's Birm. No chips.
No chips.
And I think these guys took the ones that were left for me. So
the early bird may get the
early bird.
I had to stick around.
But the second mouse gets the cheese.
The second mouse got the cheese. I was the early one. I got one.
Well, we saw football and we saw Roosters catering for Student Appreciation Day. It was an interesting one. Justin, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now. You wanted to see the offensive line, and it's a banged-up, injury-depleted one, and I don't think they had the best practice, but I don't know how much.
Yeah, no, it didn't look strong, but
Bob says that was an understatement.
Austin was out, and I mean they were shaking some things up, and getting some younger guys in there, which they have to because of just the numbers they have and the people that are out. But it didn't look great, and then they had a period after the one I saw that didn't look good, and then after that, they spent the next period on just working against twists.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yes, keep doing this because the things I saw kind of were in that, bubble, I guess, of what they're having trouble with in the inside drills. But spring ball, practice 8, you're getting these young guys some experience in there. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. It's not, game week. We don't have to suit up on Saturday to go play, a big-time team. This is the right time to be doing this. It's the right time to have these guys out. You wish everybody was healthy and full go, but, these young guys this is good experience for them. And, Arthur and Bowen are going to, they're going to get these guys going. I continue to not be worried about the offensive line, even after.
What a change for you.
Even after watching on Saturday thinking, but I have faith if they can all be healthy, we're going to be okay.
And, part of that is you have both Austin and Philip Daniels, both those guys.
Yeah, both were out, yeah. So we're filling in, and you got to take that for what it is.
And so, yes, it wasn't even as much. I don't think that showed up as much like with the first group because you roll everybody up, and Ian Moore's been getting some good reps anyway and some good run. But then you start seeing it as like everybody else moves up. And I don't know why. Like the difference between, and this has been the case, I feel like from now until eternity, because it's just such a hard position to build and you build a unit. But the difference between like the second team defensive line and the second team offensive line, like that's where that separation really starts to happen. And it can be tough. I mean, Tavian St. Clair's kind of running around back there for his life.
It's a good thing he's athletic.
It's a good thing he's athletic. And it's a good thing he wasn't live because that may have been a little
May not have been for much longer.
Yeah.
It's to your point, it's a good time for this to happen, but it's still a bad thing for it to happen. But it's not like the old days where spring ball meant that was your only opportunity to work together. You didn't have all the OTA style stuff in the summer like you do now. So you're going to get these guys back together. The chemistry will have time to work and develop in the summer. But even to your point, when you start to go down into the depth chart and then Jake Cook leaves the practice and then you're like, okay, now we're down another guy. So it makes you wonder what's happening at right guard. Like Austin Serveld was working at right guard last week because of Gabe Van Sickle needing to take some time off. And then he gets hurt. So like, what is going on there?
Maybe
Bob?
there's something in the room. Maybe
the right guard room. Yeah.
Maybe they need to have a seance in there.
Exorcism?
Some sort of
Get
deal.
some holy water sprayed around in there.
Go in there and help heal it up. I'm like, oh, wait, Austin, you took like a rep at guard and now you can't practice anymore? I mean, what's going on? Like you want? I think
we were expecting you to be our right guard.
I told him,
what are you doing?
I told him because I thought he wasn't athletic enough to play guard, so he injured himself down there inside. But that's the one area. And I think probably the run game has been struggling because of the.
Well, they have their own
list
of injuries.
Yeah,
So.
the offensive line is banged up, and the running backs are banged up. Without Bo Jackson, without Isaiah West, didn't have Legend Bay for the last couple of weeks. Turbo Rogers didn't practice on Saturday.
That's right, he wasn't out there, so it was getting a little bumpy, and that drop is real. So, yeah, that when you can't run it, then you have to throw it a lot. And then you just get pass rush teed up on you a lot. And you're in bad situation. I mean, I feel like this is kind of the narrative for most of the springs that I was in. It became like glorified 7-on-7. And if you're the guy who has maybe not the best offensive line in front of you as a quarterback, Justin, it's really hard. Really hard because the receivers, they can still win, but they can't win in 2 seconds. Like they need a little more time to be able to get that done. But the one thing is, like, the offensive line doesn't really have a lot of new faces. So that is reassuring. The rest of the positions, like guys need to get out there, get work, understand the scheme. Like it used to be, spring was a lot of individual development. Now, as much as anything, it's like scheme introduction for the 51
For the
new
new
faces.
guys.
But then you're also
Do you guys like the landman out there, by the way?
oh, which one?
Brock Boyd,
Oh,
the landman.
Yeah.
I told his dad, that's his name
was-
now.
I
Landman.
thought out of all of the hype from the previous couple weeks that might have been his quietest practice out of camp so far.
Yeah,
How about-
he runs some
I'm not-
smooth routes.
I don't mean that as an insult.
Well, yeah.
I'm praising what all the others were like. I was like, is he just going to go destroy this entire Student Appreciation Day practice?
How about,
And that didn't happen. So
did
maybe
you-
that's on me.
did you see the social media post out there with IGB, which it took me a minute to figure out who it was? Because I don't know if he posted, then people were like, he kind of cut it off because you never shows his face. But I mean, he's throwing some profanity back out there.
Oh,
back
was that IGB?
Yeah, it was
I
IGB.
saw that, and then he
Well,
broke him off at the top.
because at the very end he comes back to him like, man, if that's like a student or a recruit,
Yeah,
that's a pretty bold move to like go over and talk some trash to a random person.
Yeah, that was a great route, and that's
Oh yeah,
keeping an eye on him, just watching me. He's fluid. He runs good routes. He's fast. I mean, good hand.
his step
He's
at the
gonna
top
have
of his
yes,
route. It's
yes.
Like,
And that video you're talking about,
Yes.
whoop, I mean, the DB almost fell.
Yeah,
it was Jermaine Matthews.
Yeah, it was Jermaine too.
I mean,
It was legit, So I mean, very excited about him and the other receivers. Really, I mean, not to just go off on receivers,
Go
but
for it.
I mean, it was almost hard for me to keep track. I kept having to go down at the list, like, all right, 6, 8, like
Yeah,
they're almost
3,
all
5, 6,
yeah,
8.
it's like they're all interchangeable, and they look the same, and it almost seems like they have. I'm sure each one does something better, but I feel like they're going to be able to rotate those guys a lot and just do some different things with them. And they were all kind of making plays, but it's like, which one is that? Just trying to figure it out.
It certainly does feel like Brock Boyd has put himself in position to be in that top 6, and also that Ohio State, Bob feels more willing to play 6 than they have the last couple of years. And I thought if we're going to spin off there beyond personnel in terms of maybe scheme change, I thought on Saturday
regime change.
Yeah, regime change
Or
with the new offensive coordinator. That mesh concepts and drag routes and crossing patterns, that there was some, maybe not in the full team period, but at least in 7-on-7, it's like that kind of looks like 7 years ago for Ohio State. So you have the interchangeable receivers and maybe Arthur Smith and Ryan Day getting together, putting together some version of the offense that looks like what we got accustomed to a while ago.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's what Ryan kind of came up doing, and they'd gotten away from that. And
Why do you think they did?
I think because when you have
Emeka Egbuka, Marvin Harrison, and
yeah,
Jeremiah
like
Smith,
dude,
and
let's
let these guys get open, give them time.
yes, I think it was like, hey, let's just work it down the field. They can win one-on-one stuff, and like everyone loves watching the ball fly 40 yards in the air and it's a touchdown. But I'm like, if you throw it to them at 10 and they run for 30, it counts the same.
I think so.
So you can do some of those things because they'd gotten away, and maybe some of it too is a lot of people don't play man against Ohio State anymore. So like a lot of
those crossers and meshes.
Famously,
you're
Michigan
sitting
tried
down.
to do that in what was it, 2018?
18,
Yeah,
Dr. Blitz didn't work out too well.
2018.
2018. And you're just running crossers on that, and they're not. It was a beating because of it. So I don't know if people run a ton of man. Maybe some will, and so you'll get maybe a bigger dose of that in those games.
Or you figure out when they do run man, and you go
Yeah.
to those, go to those plays at that point in time. But you want to get them running, but to your point, when you're playing zone, they're going to sit down in those. And now you can still throw a 5-yard route and have them get 15 yards, but it's
And when
not
you
going to
have
be that
3
running.
offensive linemen hurt, you need to throw 5-yard routes because you have to give Julian Sane time.
The
Otherwise,
quick
it's just
game.
an adventure back there.
Let's already know about the quick game.
Yeah, it did turn into a little bit of an adventure for Ohio State on offense on Saturday. And if you're looking for your next adventure, head to Tansky Power Sports, your one-stop shop for ATVs, dirt bikes, golf carts, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, power, or versatility, Tansky Power Sports has something for everyone. With the best brands and expert service, visit Tansky Power Sports today at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road, or browse their huge selection online at TanskyPowersports.com. Tansky Power Sports, where the adventure begins.
Built for speed or comfort?
That's up to you to decide.
You motorboats.
When you have 2 weeks of spring adventure left, and you're not going to get Austin Serval back, you're not going to get Philip Daniels back by the end of camp. I mean, you're hoping, Bob, that Ian Moore makes the most of these reps, Carter Lowe makes the most of it. But let's set aside the offensive line. What's out there that you think needs to be accomplished and can reasonably be accomplished in this next 2 weeks?
Well, and I don't even call it 2 weeks as much as it is. They just practiced today, so there's 9 down.
Yeah.
they
So
really
six-
functionally
six-
only-
five more practices.
It's really
Number 14 is a walkthrough.
It's what I'm saying. It's really only functionally 4 because
Okay.
the spring game is what the spring game is, and there's things you can garner from that. And then you have the coaches clinic at the very end. So I mean, it's really between now and 13. So you have tomorrow,
You got the rest of the
Friday.
day, and then early next week, right?
Yeah, then basically Monday, Wednesday-ish,
Yeah.
and like you're kind of there. So a lot of the hay's in the barn. Ryan talked about making a positive impression, like giving people, and James said this, like give coaches an idea of what you can do in a positive way, so that as we build this thing out, we need to know what we can handle, what type of packages we can put in. And so they've done a lot of it. The one thing I'd like to continue to see, I think we've got a good taste of the receivers. You have a pretty good idea now what they are, and there's improvement that can happen. Running backs is kind of a, it's a DNF because like you don't know what you have. Linemen, it's like, okay, let's see what the young guy. You guys got chances now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't tell me that you didn't get a chance to earn a spot.
You're getting reps.
You
Yeah.
got reps against the ones. You're
Mhm.
getting in here. We're going to rotate it. I don't hear you crying like, well, I didn't get a shot to start. Hey, buddy, the guy in front of you was hurt.
Yeah.
You're the guy now. The secondary, I think, is interesting because you lost so much in it. You got Jermaine Matthews, and you have Sanchez and McLean.
I thought Roker looked pretty good Saturday as well.
Roker has
He moves around really well. back
Roker,
there.
he's big. He's
Yeah.
physical. He has looked good. You have Earl Little, and who I think people have kind of established that he's going to be a guy. But like, you're going to probably have to play 2 or 3 more guys. Who are those guys? Like who rises up and begins to make plays that you can have confidence.
Is this
in?
Terry Moore looking pretty solid?
Terry Moore, I think, looks good. I know
He's had his ups and downs, but that's
Yeah.
what you expect. You're coming from Duke. You're coming off a major knee injury. There's a ton of
Oh,
work
yeah.
that you have to get done. The guys that we saw on Saturday flash a lot was Dominic Kelly, who we've talked about. Cam Calhoun's had a really good couple weeks. Number 18 out there.
Yes.
The transfer from
What
Bama.
number's Kelly?
24.
Yes.
So you've got
very physical.
You've got that group coming, and a guy like Cam Calhoun, he played at Michigan, he played at Utah, he played at Alabama. Like now
it's
he's
like Johnny Cash.
yeah, so he's played everywhere. He's been everywhere, man. And you're just trying to put it together one piece at a time, Bob. That's another Johnny Cash
I
song.
like that.
Wow. Full Man in
But
Black
it
show.
didn't cost me a dime.
That's a great song.
It really is.
59, 69, 62. That's a good song.
But
59
Also-
automobile. I like that.
what
Sam.
number is Timmons?
At 25.
25. That's right. And like I know that there's been a lot of praise showered on him. The secondary I have the hardest time keeping track because I feel like I know hardly, and outside of like the 4 or 5 guys that have came back, like everybody else is new. And usually it's like, oh, I've had this guy. He was a freshman last year. This guy was here. It's like, bam, here's all your new guys, and try to figure it all out.
Also, it feels like they're stacked up with numbers that they wouldn't ideally want. Like a defensive back, 24 and 25. Like it doesn't feel right.
Well, because when you have your defensive tackle wearing number 3,
Yes.
there's
And your
number
edge, we're wearing, what, 4? Right?
2. Kenyatta.
Oh, yeah, and
Yeah, 2, 3,
Kenyatta's
and
2,
4,
and you got,
Yes. All the single digits.
Clay's-
on the-
yeah,
And
on the
Riley's
line.
in 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that James Smith had a very impactful practice since
Yeah.
you brought him up and wearing that number 3. He got the black stripe off.
We got a black stripe alert.
We got a black stripe alert. I
I
struggled.
really kind of feel like that should be your job in the future.
I don't know.
Is CJ trying to pawn that off on you yet?
I don't
No.
think CJ wants to pawn it off. I think he
I
loves
know.
to.
He got
Does he
done with
love
the
it?
second one on Saturday, and he was out of breath. He
The
was.
days you have 2, you need a
Yeah,
backup.
he was. he looked.
Bob, get in here.
bring him to the left.
CJ was gassed after the announcement of James Smith.
But I think I had a hard time squaring that away, harder than I normally would. It's like how much stock to put in James Smith and Edric Houston looking phenomenal at defensive
They look
tackle
good.
versus knowing, all right, well, a lot of these reps, the deck was stacked in their favor.
Yes.
I know that the offensive line is shorthanded, and so I don't want to overreact on either side of the football. I think the offensive line is going to be fine, but I don't want to say that James Smith is an All-American because he had a great student appreciation.
I like to look at James Smith when he's going against Luke Montgomery.
Yeah.
Well, but he was against Luke,
Yeah,
against
yeah,
Carson,
Luke was
against
there,
Gabe. So those are the prospective 3 starters in the middle. Like I think you can glean more out of what
Yes.
Edric and James and John Walker and Will Smith and those guys are doing against than what the defensive ends are doing.
But I mean, I think Ian Moore is played pretty well on the edge. Like he's looked good out there, and it's a function of like, hey, you just got it's consistency. You can't have like 3 good reps and then one that's not great. And that's usually the case with guys as they start to play. It's just trying to level that out.
Justin, if you were taking that small sample size from Saturday and something that you would want to see addressed over the next week and a half or so, or 1 week, what would that be for you?
Golly, that's a tough question.
That's what we do here.
That is what we do.
It's
here. It's not fun casual today.
No, not after Student Appreciation Day. Not when you get those chips. You've got to earn.
I just want them to be healthy coming out of camp. To be honest, I mean that's really all that matters right now. They're getting their reps. I don't think without having a really good. I mean, I guess they have an idea, but without having those starters down, you're not game planning or anything like that. You're not worried about that right now. You have an idea of what you want this offense or defense to look like. You got to see if you have the guys that can do that for you.
Right.
I would like to see these young guys in the offensive line really take advantage of this opportunity. That's a lot of reps they're getting against a lot of good guys, on the ones versus ones type thing. So I think it's a very big opportunity for them. But we can't have more guys get injured. I don't want any more surgeries. I don't want anybody else out until the end of whatever. I want these guys to get through this. We're on the back half of spring ball now, so it is that time where it's like, let's just get through this. We have a good idea of what the team is like right now. But I don't know if there's one thing. I think they're just trying to figure things out right now.
The hard part is that the things that you have questions about are the offensive line and the run game, and you're not going to get those answers. Like that, those are not going to be answered over these next 4 practices. So you can sort of just push that off to the side and say, "We'll worry about this come June," because you're not going to get those answers. So I thought that Jacoby Jackson was a guy who stood out to me on Saturday, just because we're
24.
Seeing him, because some of that is just by default because
the grown man out there.
He's a 7th-year guy, 25-year-old kid out there. Like he should look better than Favor Aki. I thought he did a nice job. He ran physical, and that's what Ryan Day was talking about on Monday at his press conference. This sort of serving as a quasi-snap judgments for that presser this morning.
Got the ball out of the backfield, too.
He's talking about running through people or running by people, and Jacoby Jackson was certainly physical enough at the point of attack. He was being forced to be physical at the line of scrimmage because multiple times he would get to the line of scrimmage and be hit by the linebackers and safeties. So I liked what we saw out of him, but we're not going to get any true sense of what that run game and offensive line are going to look like until August at this point. So it's like you just got to keep your fingers crossed and hope that they have a plan. And Ryan has not been shy in press situations to point out that the run game has been lackluster. It has not hit on the cylinders he wants it to, but I think he's also being fair to Carlos Loughlin and understanding that he's in a pretty crappy spot right now.
Yeah. I mean, he has huge arms, but he has 2 guys whose arms aren't working, and they got 2 left arms and no rights. So they're working through it. That's what's tough, and you combo that with an offensive line that's like piecemeal a little bit. There's not very big holes, and maybe the guys going through them aren't the guys that you'll be having in the fall as regularly as well. So I think that they're going through, but look at the concept, some of the things they're putting in, like what Arthur Smith is doing. I really like
death of an offensive coordinator.
Jeez, you're amazing. Good job out of here.
How many references are we going to get in the first half of the show?
But Arthur Smith, what they're doing, like I like structurally some of the play action game and some of the different things when you get under center, what you're able to do with that.
Well, you won't have to wait until fall for a really good deal at Roosters, because on Tuesday it will be Appetizer Tuesday for anyone at their local participating Roosters for dine-in only.
I was here last Tuesday.
Went to what was
you
it?
got your dine-in only.
Yeah.
What deal did you get last week? I don't remember. Oh, cheesy bacon.
Curly fries.
Well, tomorrow it's the 5-tool player. It's Birm's favorite. It's Schlage's favorite. It's everyone's favorite. It's mac and cheese bites.
He still insists that he could take me in a mac and cheese bite.
I can't believe we've never done that.
That's what I told him last week.
These years.
I can't believe we didn't have this for charity.
We still can.
But we haven't. We need to establish some parameters. Is this
is it endless time?
Right? Is it a quantity thing? Is it a how fast you can eat a full basket? Like what is the competition?
It can't be. It's got to be how many baskets can you eat?
It's a quantity game.
Yeah, one basket's nothing.
So like, are we talking how many can you eat in an hour?
You can stack all those on top of each other, smush them down, and eat them all.
I mean, maybe it's just until somebody quits.
Until somebody taps out.
This is like the old school.
Like quit match.
Until those tears dry up in your eyes and they're not coming down anymore. You just can't go anymore.
Like the old school UFC's one untimed round till submission.
To the death. Wait, that's not too far.
You need 3 bottles of hot sauce.
I mean, honestly,
would you dump hot sauce on all of them if you were to eat?
Yeah, I mean, if I had
does Joey Chestnut stop dipping the dogs?
I just didn't know if it'd get too hot for him.
That's his superpower.
I mean, we see him sweating. We see him sweating back there when he's digging into that.
That is the nuclear ring sauce. That is not this very, very boring,
Delicious.
We'll get you
but
the
also
nuclear.
delicious basic hot sauce. This is your vinegar-based Tabasco substitution. That's
Put some of
nothing.
that in your hair in the morning.
Yeah, I don't even care about that. I use that as eye drops.
Long weekend
Yeah,
slip.
long week.
I use that as eye drops.
That was eye drops.
That's nothing.
That's why he's always seeing so clearly, because he's
Mhm.
using hot sauce to get those eyes ready to go watch a Student Appreciation Day practice, which was awesome. Roosters was there as well. And we're going to talk even more about it and what's going on at quarterback in the controversial last play of Student Appreciation Day when we come right back into the live show at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint.
The Roosters Foundation helps us be able to give back to the community. It's part of our culture within the company.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Welcome back into Roosters' second half of the live show. Second half of spring ball well underway for the Buckeyes. And they capped off Student Appreciation Day. 4th and goal from the 4.
Gotta have it.
Bet.
I'm in the corner of the end zone where the ball winds up going. It was clear as could be. Jeremiah Smith jumping from out of bounds. And I'm telling Birm standing by Mark Pantoni. I'm over by C.J. Barnett. I'm telling Mickey Marotti, I was like, come on, you're just going to let this stand? It's not a touchdown. Because the defense is then having to go run the sprints.
I was so far away because the defense was over there on that far side, so
Yeah.
you couldn't see like the angle. You just saw him catch it, and it looked like he came down in bounds. But when he's jumping from out of bounds, I guess that's the problem.
Illegal touching.
So no.
Right, there should have been a flag. Mark Pantoni was like, just let him have it. I don't know. I don't know if he's the final arbiter or not.
I don't think he is.
In that situation,
Nobody was looking to Mark Pantoni for a
Yeah,
verdict.
they let it go.
Just let
Ryan
him.
Day did say on Monday morning that the offense ended up having to run the gassers this morning because they did overturn it.
How does the defense get the gasser back?
Well, that's the great question, Bob. You know what? They don't
An eye for an eye.
They don't get it back.
They're better for having done that.
Yeah, well, I ran it in my shoes with no cleats, no grip, and it's hard to make those turns.
Why were you
So
running?
you're concerned about
I think they
getting
would have let you slide if you didn't take off
Well,
when
'cause
the
James,
whistle
I
blew.
go over there and help out. He's
Accountability.
like, if you got it, you're either in or you're out.
Fair enough. Yeah, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna run with us.
So yeah, I a couple of years, like 2 years ago, I didn't. I'm like, all right, well, I gotta run now. I gotta own it.
Fair enough.
Got to earn your keep.
Yeah.
I was amused by it because Ohio State's social media team still put that clip out. It's like Jeremiah's always open. I'm like, well, he wasn't actually open here. It didn't count.
It's out of bounds.
Against the rules.
He's still, yes, making a sensational catch, but and then it opened up like, well, Julian saying, did he have a throw to Devin McEwen underneath on the slant? It's like, why are we even talking about this play that didn't happen? I think maybe
We're
take it
breaking
down.
it down like
We're
it's,
pretty- yes.
The
like it's
Zapruder
an
film.
actual. It's
Like
an
it-
actual last play of the world that costs you something.
I'm pretty sure that was scripted. To say we're throwing it to JJ on the final play of the day, like that's why they
Student
did it.
Appreciation Day. Yes. Just throw it up to JJ in the corner.
Well, they had 4th and 4. There was on the script. It's like they literally had
It just
last play of the world,
Yeah.
like 4th and 4. Montress would always say last play of the world, 4th and whatever, like winner wins. And then I do like the fact that we're going to get some juice for the kicker there. Like,
little Connor Hawkins action.
yeah, pulling everybody up, running, start cheer, make some noise, get them juiced.
Seems like he's, I don't know. I don't want to compare. It's the thief of joy, Birm, but there's a little juice to this kicker.
You
You're a
need
juicy
little
kicker?
You need
Yeah.
a little juiciness in your kicker, and a guy who can just be surrounded by people and make a kick. I don't care if it's a 45-yard kick or a 40-yard.
That's
kick
the most
or-
important thing. We
or
want a kicker that can make a
27-year-old
kick.
Just
I don't
make,
care about the juice.
Job
and
number
rings.
1.
I want you to put it through the uprights.
You know, and again, it's not to besmirch anyone else. We watched Jaden Fielding at Pro Day hit a 57-yarder. You're like, he can do it, but
Can he make it 27?
can he make a 27-yarder?
Mm.
And that's what, it's Ohio State. You don't want to rely or ever think that you're going to need your kicker to win you games. But
But
You
you're
know,
going to
watch
be-
the last 20 years.
eventually,
Dude, saved my
Saying-
behind
saying you
multiple
don't
times.
want to have, you don't want that to be the case, but if it needs to be the case, you better have a guy that can make it. And Connor Hawkins is coming off a pretty good year at Baylor. He made 4 kicks over 50 yards. You feel some confidence. He's been hurt a little bit throughout the first couple of weeks of spring, so to get him back and put in that situation, first time for the fans to really see him, first time for social media to get to react to him, it's big.
First
big go.
pressure-packed situation and the
those
Woody
things
Hayes.
matter. Those things matter.
It counts.
It counts. That's
and
good. Good to hear.
On Saturday, it counted as a touchdown for Julian Sand. He's not the referee. Jay-Z, what did you make of, I know you wanted to see that next step in his development. Did you get any answers about Julian Sayin or Tavian St. Clair? I guess,
Yeah,
for that matter?
I think Julian looked as expected. I saw him. They were working on the little running back drill where he's pulling it and running a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be part of the play. The playbook, but maybe you have that in there just every now and then, bring it out. I thought he looked solid. Tavian looked like a huge athlete. I mean, he's just a big dude out there. Strong arm. Threw some really nice balls. Did some good things. Sailed a few. On air. That sort of thing. Young guy still. He's going to figure it out. But I think he looks promising. No doubt about it. Mentally. Coming from a smaller school like he did, I think it's just going to take some time for him to really understand and learn the football that he probably didn't maybe get coming to Ohio State. But he's been here for a year now, and this will be a good year for him to learn. And now he's got a little skin in the game because if something happens, he's the first man up this year. So, or you think so, anyways.
Yeah. He'd better be.
Yeah, well, fair. I just didn't want to, I don't know that he's second string, but I'm guessing
Coach,
that is going to be the way they go. I know. Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't care if we just have to run him like Cam Newton. I mean, he's
JT Barrett and just running downhill.
He is going in the game if Julian something happens.
So it's good to see him kind of coming along, and he's just one of those big athletes where you look at him like, man, he's going to be something special. You think so? Looked good, but Julian. Yeah, he's solid. He throws a really nice ball. All that stuff he did last year still the same, and I think there's just for him it's probably more inside. Like, I feel like I'm the guy now. I can kind of be the leader and be who I want to be for this team right now.
It's experience, right? I mean, the experience makes the process a little faster, and now you start to see things faster. And obviously, with the offensive line situation the way it is, he's being forced to move a little bit to get time.
He
to
ran
throw.
quite a lot.
He's rolling.
Well, and that might be good for him too. To hey, get on the offensive line a little bit, or this is the type of time where receiver messes up. Like, you can let him hear about it a little bit. You're the guy now. That you can. This is where I need you to be. This is why I need you to be there, and that sort of thing. I'm sure he's getting into a little bit here in the spring, and that's just only gonna. The more he does it, and the more he feels comfortable doing it, it's gonna make the offense better. It's gonna make everybody better.
There's no doubt
that a third-year player now.
Yeah,
that makes
exactly.
a difference.
And he's getting the input and advice and opinion of Arthur Smith, who just spent the last couple of years with Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you're gonna be that guy, you've got to be that guy all the time. And,
UFOs.
And you can't be afraid to. You can't be afraid to piss your teammates off if you're right. If you're the guy telling them, hey, you need to be here, you need to be here. You just need to be demonstrative and don't worry about it if it hurts someone's feelings. If
you can't worry about that.
If you're saying that this is where you're supposed to be and you're not,
this is where I'm going to throw it, and this is why you be there to catch it, or you're not going to be on the field.
And so I think it's good to see a little bit more out of Julian in that way, and I think we're starting to.
It was interesting. I talked to Josh Myers, who was back after practice, another Aaron Rodgers connection, and talking about UFOs and conspiracy theories. And Josh
forgot that he was there.
Josh was like, and Arthur Smith had mentioned some of his experience around him as well. But Josh was like, yeah, Aaron would talk about these things, and I would never consider it. But I thought, well, if anybody knows that there might be some truth to this, Aaron Rodgers is a big-time celebrity. Like, he knows everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe
that
is true.
Yeah.
So
maybe that is.
Wait a second.
Maybe it's all starting to make sense.
I said,
now.
let me get Jay-Z's conspiracy
Let's
corner
go.
in here. We've got Aaron Rodgers and Josh Myers. Let's all put our brains together and solve the world's
Don't get me
problems.
started. We're going to fly by the moon just to see if we can land on it now.
Yeah.
And then did it 50-some years ago. We landed.
See if the stuff's still up there.
Yeah, see what's still up. I don't know what's going on.
The wind's blowing up there.
That's right. Hey, you never know.
Oh, sound stage.
Flags there.
Nick Petit-Frere was talking about Arthur Smith and how his reputation, even though Nick went to the Titans after Arthur had left, people were still very highly praising Arthur Smith and the things that he did. So he was excited to be back on Saturday.
Oh, I didn't
CJ
see him.
Saunders. Yeah, Nick Petit-Frere. They had Nick.
The lucky Frenchman.
They had Nick doing some recruiting of other kids from the Tampa area who were there and getting in the ears of linebackers who were at rival high schools of Nick's at Berkeley Prep. But it's just good to see those guys back. The ones that we don't really see very often. So Nick and Josh especially are guys.
How many recruits were here?
There was probably 40-ish. It's a big crowd.
Felt like more.
I mean, they're just all over the place, but
a lot of family members, I think.
Yeah, and I talked to CJ Saunders for a long time on Saturday. It's great to see him back in Columbus.
Nice.
So I thought that part was really cool. Obviously, Jay-Z, you were there. Bob, you happened to be around some of those practices from time to time, but the way that they've turned that into an event, it was less, I think, for the current students because of Easter. I think maybe the crowd of the current active students was the smallest that it's been. in the decade pluses has been going on.
Yep.
But turning that into a family opportunity, turning that into bringing former Buckeyes who aren't at every practice, that part I thought was really cool. And you could have easily at some point been like, you know what, we're done with this hassle. But they've kept that.
Yeah, it's a hassle, I'm
event.
sure.
It takes a lot of planning.
Well, it takes a lot of planning and just the disruption to practice. Like the coaches you get there, it does give juice and energy to the practice. So like there's good that comes with it because
People want to show out in front of people.
Yeah, a bunch of former players. You got IGB literally yelling at Brock Boyd and Jermaine.
Talking smack to him
right
in the middle of a rep.
Yes.
Yeah,
So like it gets some juice going for everybody.
That's not a guy he played with. He doesn't know.
No,
No,
he has
doesn't know him
idea.
at all.
He'll talk to anybody.
Brock's probably like, who is this crazy guy over on the sideline yelling at me
I
right
mean, he's seen him in there, and so it's one thing. Like he's working out, but like if he wasn't like working out,
Yeah,
around,
he just
like,
showed up and came back
who
for
is
that
this
day.
guy? Is he a player? I mean, is he just a student? Like what's going on?
Like, Coach,
Yeah.
some dude's over here just
Yeah, I saw
railing
Scott
me right
McMullen
now.
grab Kenyatta by the face mask.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Start
see
talking
that.
smack.
You just don't see that on the other side of the ball.
No.
No.
You know?
No.
So it was just it adds some juice, but then also like logistically trying to practice around it, like keep everybody back, make sure that nobody gets hurt. You know, you have a hard time coaching when there's a lot more noise and things going on.
Ryan on his Monday press conference talked about how he had to like bite his tongue and not say the things he wants to say because
Exactly, there's people there.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of phones.
a lot of recording devices. But yeah, I mean, you get into that situation, and what you brought up earlier, you really only have 13 spring practices because of the student appreciation practice, or because of the coaches clinic, because of the spring game. So you're giving up one of them, and that's why they even changed it a little bit. We didn't get to see the first half of practice on Saturday.
Yeah,
so
they started early.
They started early and got some work done before they opened the doors, which they're trying to find these ways to
middle it a little bit,
thread the needle between what they need to get done and what they want to get done, and it's an interesting juxtaposition, I think, for Ryan Day in this spring, because he's been very, very clear that they have so many moving parts and so many new faces and so many new things that they're trying to figure out, but he also still needs to open up the doors of the facility and let people into the program, which is not always easy.
I wish they'd have done that when we were there. I think
appreciation.
Yeah,
Oh, it'd been great.
I think it's kind of a cool deal. Getting the kids coming through, we would have had a good time with
talking
it.
trash to the coaches in front of the play. Like, it would be so good. I can only imagine how just ridiculous I would have been.
Oh, gosh.
On the
Yeah, they may not let you practice during that day.
Bob's on a maintenance day.
We're gonna get nothing out of Bobby today. He's just gonna be a pain in our. You know what?
Bobby Carpenter load management.
Go get on the climber for practice.
100%. I would tackle because I smoked Robbie Schoenhoff one time when he was back there. I mean, where's in the spring? We're hitting quarterbacks. You can put the jersey on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would hit.
You got to get work in too.
Yeah, I mean they got to feel getting hit. Looked a little different against Indiana, didn't it? Let's go. We got to practice some of these reps.
They did do that last spring on Student Appreciation
And
Day.
they made guys live. They had a couple live periods out there. It would have been a lot of fun. It was cool though, because like they talked about, like, all right, we have like 8 periods to really get some stuff done. Do some normal 7-on-7. I mean, they have so many so many plays. They have a themed 7-on-7, but then they also
like Disney Princess?
Basically, like, hey, we're going to do red
Villains.
zone, we're going to do low red, high red, third down, this or that. And then they also got some inside run in before, which is always a lot of fun to see. And then it's like, all right, floodgates open. Now we can come in for like the last hour and whatever it was, hour and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it was great after that.
Did they have player availability afterwards?
No.
They all signed autographs and hung out.
Well, I'm talking.
Nothing
There was some scheduled stuff, I think, initially that
there was, and I suggested, as Will Pantages gets the lay of the land, I said, Student Appreciation Day, we don't generally talk to anyone because it's a madhouse in there, and you're gonna need a SWAT team to escort
get
JJ.
Jeremiah.
They also did that for Ryan, but you get him out pretty quickly without having to sign autographs and
take 2 state troopers for Julian.
Yeah, to get them for an hour out there. They don't really want that to happen a lot. But there are also other players who don't want to leave. Like Edric Houston would sign, take pictures with anybody.
It's fun for the guys, yeah. I mean,
Jermaine was out there extensively talking about that practice and angry because he took the brunt of all that trash talk in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, he did.
He also delivered a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
The other guy who I thought, and I mentioned this to you, Birm, like Ian Moore seems to have a little bit of chip on that shoulder.
I think it's that mustache. The power of the stash.
The power of the stash.
That's what it is? It fuels the trash talk?
It does. He's got that and some sweet tats.
The tats will do it.
Yeah, I'm glad that Justin doesn't have that mustache going, so he's a
I
little
knocked
easier,
it down today. I know, a little easier to look at.
a little easier to manage.
It's the wife's birthday, so I figured I'd give her a birthday
Hey,
present.
all right, there we go. Happy birthday.
Corey Lindsley's got a crazy stash right
Does he?
now. And a shaved bald head, and he weighs about 180 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lost a lot of weight, huh?
That's quite a look. I didn't see that.
It's a Freddie Mercury. Yeah, he didn't come back.
Okay.
He lives in California. It's a Freddie Mercury.
He told me he bought a house in Columbus last time he was here. Anyway, that's sidetracked.
Vacation home.
He had a house.
Well, this is the San Diego of the Midwest.
It is.
so
That it is.
There's
It
no
is.
finer place to be right now.
No.
But I thought it was very productive, and I mean, this is going to be that big push week to see what they've got. I think they've installed a lot of what they want to put in. Now it'll be like, hey, some things here and there, and
Fine tune it a little
let's
bit.
fine tune what we're trying to do, and let's get really good at this stuff.
Yep, they're running out of time, but we will have one more
One more
live
night.
show
Mm.
to preview the spring game next week, another Monday. So it'll be another later one in the afternoon, just like this one today. After we'll have a Ryan Day press conference, and then we'll preview everything that's going to go on in the Horseshoe and what happened this week with practices.
Did you say anything good in the
9, 10,
presser?
11. Berman, I asked a lot about the run game, so you can tell that that's what's front of mind for us. Offensive line injuries, confirming that Austin Sareveld and Philip Daniels will miss the rest of camp. Legend Bay not fully back yet, but it was a lot of digging into the personnel and X's and O's developments, and no suggestions of a draft for college football.
Oh, wasn't that?
No, we didn't get into that, or the executive order conversation, which I'm sure that's going to go through seamlessly.
Yeah.
We left a lot of that on the table.
Okay.
I do like this new ghost transfer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna put a stop to that.
Well,
I mean, taking half of a coach's season away and money.
I'm sure all of it will hold up to the legal challenges, just like everything else that
Well,
has happened with the
there's
NCAA
always that,
over
yeah.
the last 20, 30, 40
I like the
100
idea
years.
of it, I guess I should
There
say.
we go. Yeah, I
yes.
think we can all agree that there are.
I like the idea of college football.
The way it used to be.
It's not really a thing anymore, but I like it. I
Yeah.
like the idea of it. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Make college football great again, I believe is what they say. Thanks for joining us on a Monday at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint. Thanks to Tansky Power Sports for their support of this show. Thank you to Justin Zwick and Bobby Carpenter for their thoughts. And Berm, hope you have a great week, folks. I'm Austin Ward. We'll be right back in here next Monday getting ready for the spring game. We'll see you then.